course on Mastering the Interview. Before you begin this course, please complete the pre-test to assess your current knowledge covering the topics involved. Once you have concluded the full training course, complete the post-test and use these results to assess the amount of new knowledge you have acquired. The interview is one of the key elements of the job search process. As with any skill, we can get better at it with preparation and practice. In this course, you will discover how to prepare for an interview and become familiar with the types of questions to expect, as well as the questions you should think about asking. You will learn how to prepare for second interviews, testing and shadowing, as well as how to follow up on your interview sessions. You will learn the most effective ways to prepare for an interview, including how to present yourself professionally. This course will also teach you to develop expertise at expressing yourself effectively and knowing how to ask for feedback following an interview. The first section we'll be looking at in this course is understanding the interview. Planning. People can be nervous in an interview, especially if it's for a job they really want, with an employer for whom they would like to work, or if it's one of their first interviews. However, an interview is just a business meeting with a specific purpose. Understanding the intent behind the meeting means that both interviewer and candidate can make the most of it. The employer uses the interview to check you out, to see if you might fit their organization and be a benefit to their company. They need to get an idea of the kind of worker you might be, so they look at how you prepare for the interview as a precursor to how you'll prepare to work for them. At the same time, the interview gives you a chance to decide if the employer is right for you. It's important to remember that whether the employer invites you to an interview or you invite yourself, the meeting focuses on the employer's needs and what you can do for them, even though the questions seem to be about you. It's a good idea to understand the different types of questions that may be asked and to have thought about the way you might structure your answers. You don't need to memorize your answers. In fact, that can make you sound like you're acting in a play. Instead, you should prepare so that you can relax and pay attention to the conversation and the information the employer is providing, rather than having to quickly come up with answers to questions that you never thought about before. In addition to thinking about the conversation, it's equally important to plan for the event in practical ways. Try to get a good night's sleep before the interview, eat properly that day, and prepare your clothes the night before so that you will arrive on time. Whether you do an interview in person, over the phone, by web link, or even via an audition, preparation and planning are as important as your answers to the interview questions. Before the interview, make sure that you know the name of the company, the position you're being interviewed for, and the name of the person or people who will be conducting the interview. These first 3 pieces of information can be obtained from the person that books your interview. Don't bother them for additional information unless they offer it. It's important that you know the company's purpose and goals. The best way would be to gather some information about the company that applies to your interview. Don't just focus on the size of the company or the number of employees. Ask questions like, do they provide a particular service? Do they have people working in different places? Or how does what they do relate to the job you are applying for? You should familiarize yourself with their website as much as possible. Check the local library for news articles or other publications containing information about the company. This preparation may seem like a lot of work, but think of the potential for your conversation. With some research, you can answer a question by framing it with comments that tie their organization to the benefits that you bring to the potential job. You can use phrases like, when I read your annual report, I noticed that, or
I found an article on your website that talked about your company's various training programs. Are these available to all staff?
or even,
I see that you are expanding operations. Can you tell me more about that?
any organization wants to know that they are noticed. When you express an interest and do a little homework, you will stand out from other candidates who have not taken the time to learn about the company. This planning will also help you to answer the often asked question, tell us what you know about our company. In reality, the company really wants to know just 5 things about you. Why do you want to work there? What can you do for them? What kind of a person are you? What makes you stand out from the competition? And can they afford you? Or might you come on board, get trained, and then leave for the first outside opportunity? You probably want to know similar things about the company. Why do you want to work here? What do you need to know to do this job well? Would you like to work with the people that work here? If this seems like a good place to work, What will make you stand out from the competition so that they offer you the job? And can you convince them to hire you at the salary, vacation, and benefit levels that you want? The next phase is the setup. The first type of interview we're going to discuss is an informational interview. This type of interview is one when you have initiated contact, told an employer that you are interested, and asked whether you can come and talk to them. Your conversation might start like this.
Hello, Mr. Smith. My name is Lisa Jones, and I've recently graduated from school with my diploma. I understand that you sometimes hire people with my background, and I'd like to learn more about your company. Would you be able to meet with me for 20 minutes sometime next week?
Miss Smith might reply that she'd be happy to meet with you and schedule the appointment. If she's not interested, she may simply say that they are not looking right now, but that you are welcome to call in a month. If so, be sure to record her information in your day planner so that you can follow up. If you're unable to meet with Miss Smith, you could politely ask her if there are other companies within the industry that might be able to use someone with your background. If she can, she may provide you with a referral. You can also ask if there's a good time to contact her again, perhaps in 3 or 4 weeks. Make sure that you thank Miss Smith for her time. Remember that you may be contacting her again, or that you may be acting on her referral. Be polite and professional. When you set up your informational interview, there are a few guidelines. Ask for a 20-minute initial meeting. Don't ask for a longer meeting, because people perceive it to be a greater impact on their day. They often feel that they cannot spare a cold caller 30 minutes, but can squeeze 20 minutes into their day. Stick to the 20 minutes and not a moment longer. You should aim to know all about the company and what they stand for, or at least as much as is publicly available, so that you can ask questions that are focused and that demonstrate your preparation skills. If there are specific projects coming up or positions that interest you, focus your questions on those. Remember that you are not on the hot seat over a particular job, nor are you there to ask for a job. You are only there to gather information. Have your list of questions on a clipboard or a pad of paper to help keep you focused and on time. After you provide a 2-minute summary of what you know about the company, as well as your background, ask the questions that you prepared. Remember that since you initiated this meeting, you are asking the questions. Here are some potential questions that you might want to include in your 20-minute meeting.
What kinds of projects are you working on right now? Can you tell me what the people you work with say about your company? What would you say are the biggest challenges for this industry right now? And how do you go about finding the people that you wish to hire? What kind of mood are people in when they leave work at the end of a shift? Are there special courses or training that help people to be considered for positions here? Is it possible for someone with my background to be considered for positions here? And if not, what would you suggest is a good development step for me?
Bring a copy of your resume or CV with you to the meeting, but only provide it if you are asked. You may also wish to have your portfolio with you, but again, only provide it if asked. Information gathering meetings can shift to a more formal interview if the employer is interested in hiring you. If that is the case, your 20-minute period may not be enough. You can say something like this.
I promise to only take up 20 minutes today, and I respect your time. Would you like me to schedule another appointment?
When companies agree to meet someone for an information gathering interview, it's not uncommon for a strong candidate to be interviewed and even hired the next time they have a vacancy. This is a demonstration of how the hidden job market works. If Miss Smith has an opening, before she even has to think about advertising, she can refer to her file of 3 candidates that approached her for an informational interview. She knows that she has 3 very keen individuals in her candidate pool, rather than having to sift through 100 candidates who may or may not be quite so interested. Following the meeting, send Miss Smith a thank you note in appreciation of her time and information. This shows her that you genuinely appreciate her time. It also reminds her of your visit and may encourage her to think about you favorably in terms of your job search. Be sure to include your phone number on the note.